Hey, and welcome to the Marketing Guides for Small Business podcast. Today, it's Paul Barthel from Changescape Web and myself, Ian Cantle from Outsource Marketing, who are going to be running the show today. And what we're looking at is actually the topic of as we wrap up in 2023, moving into 2024, it's time to look at how we can create an irresistible offer. So too many businesses get paralyzed on what type of offer to run, and they create offers that aren't very profitable, or worse yet, they just aren't interesting to prospects and customers. So it's time to fix that. So let's look at some of the offers and the issues around offers that we as small businesses can look at in order to improve those offers, make them irresistible, and help drive business for our small businesses in the end of 2023 leading into 2024. So I'm going to hand it off to Paul to ask the question.
So, Ian, we talk about
Yes, Paul.
these irresistible offers. There are psychological elements involved as well. So, what are psychological triggers, I should say? So, what are the elements of these offers, and what are some of those psychological triggers, and why are each different elements important?
Yeah, I think this is a really good place to start because really an offer at its base is all about how do you um, move someone to action, right? That's ultimately what an offer is to do. I mean, your business is presenting an offer of a service or a product for the exchange of money, right? That's in essence what we all do as businesses, and so really the idea of creating an irresistible offer that's there, Paul.
Yeah, you froze up and then dropped.
Super weird. Super weird. I usually have a rock solid connection, but let's try picking up where I left off. Where did I drop off?
Uh, Shortly after you started
All
explaining
right.
about the offers,
All right.
but
So,
the offer was meant to take action.
all right. So it really is all about how do you incentivize or move people to take action where they might be sitting on the fence. And so, some key psychological elements in order to understand about your or triggers in order to understand are your value proposition. So you need to clearly explain how your offer solves a problem or improves the customer situation. It should be perceived as a good deal. And the psychological trigger related to that are people are motivated by the benefits that they'll receive. A strong value proposition taps into the desire for gain. Number two, urgency. Um, you need to limit the time that an offer is available to encourage quick action by the customer. The psychological trigger here is the fear of missing out, or FOMO, as we've all probably heard by now. It's really powerful. People are more likely to act quickly to avoid losing out on an opportunity. So if you've seen some of those limited time offers, We see this all the time in our industry, especially related to software offers. You're going to see it coming up with um, Black Friday offers, right? And Cyber Monday offers. Like, you want to take exact action on those as quickly as possible, and that can be a very powerful psychological trigger. Scarcity. Limit the quantity available to increase the offer's perceived value. And the psychological trigger here is that scarcity makes an item seem more desirable to people. People place a higher value on things that are less available. So if you're a service-based business, you might want to create a special offer for a limited number of people if they take action. And you can do the same thing with products as well. Social proof. Use testimonials or reviews to show that others have made the purchase and they're happy with it. And the psychological trigger here is that there's a sense of safety and security and validation in decision making when other people have made the same decision. People often look to others' actions to guide their own behavior. So social proof can be very powerful in the form of testimonials. Number 5, reciprocity. Giving something of value before asking for anything in return, like a free trial, like a sample, like a downloadable guide or a lead magnet. These can be really, really powerful. And the psychological trigger here is the principle of reciprocity, in that it compels people to give back when they receive something. So if I give you a free gift, it makes the customers feel more likely to reciprocate with a purchase. Doesn't always seem obvious, but that can be really powerful. We see this all the time in a sense from referral partners, right? If I send a referral to a trusted strategic partner of mine, they are far more likely to send a referral back to me. Authority. Establishing credibility and trustworthiness by showcasing your expertise, your endorsements from credible sources is powerful. The psychological trigger here is that people respect authority. Some people, but everybody respects authority to some degree, right? If you're looking for a dentist and they show all of the different connections from an authority standpoint or credential standpoint that they have, it makes you more likely to choose them. If they've been showcased on, some huge press or TV shows, you're going to be more apt to believe that they are a trustworthy source. People respect authority at different levels, but they value this. It's been proven from a statistical sense in marketing, and it fits within the story brand structure as well. And they're more likely to follow recommendations from a trusted expert. Commitment and consistency. Get customers to make a small initial commitment. In our business, we call these micro decisions. These micro decisions can lead to further actions. Psychological trigger here is once someone takes a small step, they're more likely to continue in order to appear consistent with their initial action. So micro decisions can be things like, download this free guide. And maybe that very first lead magnet download, you actually don't ask for anything. But then you're able to remarket to those people because you're able to see that they took an action. They downloaded something, and that's connected to their IP address. You can then remarket directly to them because they landed on a specific page. You can then offer them something of greater value, where they then have to give their email address and their name, perhaps. Again, it's just about moving them forward in their decision making by making micro decisions. It's not a nefarious thing. It's a good thing, and it's understanding human behavior. Liking. People prefer to say yes to those they know and like. If you personalize the offer and be friendly. So the psychological trigger here is that the liking principle suggests that people are more inclined to comply with requests from people or brands that they like. So this is where email marketing can be very powerful. If people opt in to receive emails from you for tips, for e-newsletters, for whatever it is, for the latest new product news, they are more apt to answer and comply with requests from you. Contrast. Present your offer next to a higher priced option to highlight the deal. So the psychological trigger here is that contrast allows people to see the immediate value. If you you see this all the time in software, right? Or maybe it's yeah, software is a great way to do this, where we can say, hey, in package A from us, you receive all of these benefits and features. From our competitor, you get less of those, right? They make it very easy for you to understand that that in contrast, you get much more value if you were to choose option A versus option B. And most businesses can do this quite effectively. Risk reversal is another one. If you eliminate or reduce the perceived risk of purchasing, such as offering a money back guarantee, this is very powerful. The psychological trigger is risk, is that risk aversion is a natural instinct. So people want to avoid losses. And a guarantee reduces the perceived risk. So for a lot of businesses, you can offer a money back guarantee. You can't do this for everything. Obviously, if you're a dentist, once the treatment is done, the treatment is done. But you can have some people I've seen do something like, your satisfaction is guaranteed. And so they will follow through to make sure that you're 100% satisfied. Um, Exclusivity. You can make an offer, an exclusive offer to a select group, limited in availability. So this is similar to the limited time, except now, or even the limited number, but this is now to an exclusive group. So exclusivity. This is where loyalty programs actually are exceptionally good at it, right? You have your levels of exclusivity. Exclusivity makes people feel special, makes them feel feel part. Got to watch out, mixing up those first letters. Feel part of an elite group, which can be very alluring. Bonuses. Adding bonuses to enhance the main offer, increase the perceived value of the total package. Um, this makes it hard to pass up because people feel they're getting more for their money. And then finally, a clear call to action. So tell customers exactly what you want them to do in a clear and compelling way associated to them, understanding what they want. Clarity eliminates confusion, and a strong call to action simplifies the decision-making process, leading to increased conversions. So there's all these different psychological triggers, and it's an awful lot for a small business to understand. But just know that if you can start to introduce these psychological triggers into your compelling offers, then it will make them that much more irresistible. Any thoughts on that, Paul?
No, that was pretty in depth.
Yeah, almost too in depth, but it is what it is. So, Paul, um, discuss some of the top performing offer types for small businesses to increase conversions, and provide examples, if you can, of them, just to help people kind of put them on.
Yeah, and so everyone has seen these like discount codes. You offer a code for a percentage off of a purchase, like code save 20% off your entire order. And a variation of that is the buy one get one. So you can try and encourage larger orders by you'll get a free product or a free service with a purchase of some with a large purchase. So if trying to think of an example, but maybe if you buy an air duct cleaning from an HVAC, you pay to have your air ducts clean, you'll get a free maintenance checkup. Something like that. Um, Free shipping. You see this all the time. Is that people hate to pay for shipping, even though that's usually like the smallest part of the order. People hate to pay for shipping, so offer free shipping, or the very least, on orders over a certain amount, you get free shipping. So if you spend, $50 or more, you get free shipping, and that can encourage people to buy more than they normally would, because back to one of those psychological things, No one wants to pay for shipping. It just irritates people. Um, flash sale, and a lot of this ties back into what you were talking about, like these flash sales. It's a limited time offer, so a certain percentage off on accessories until 11 o'clock on the 13th of the month or something like that. And we see that a lot too. You can get it, and this is a variation of the buy one get one. It is offer free gifts with purchase. If you spend a certain amount of money, like let's say you spend $100, $150, and you get a free tote bag or free pair of sunglasses or something, whatever it is, if you're selling accessories, and exclusive access. We see this a lot with software, and I think you talked about this a little bit, that and we see this a lot on webinars. If you make your purchase during this webinar, you'll get access to content, or or whether it's, I'm trying to think, I just saw one the other day, but whether it's content or offers, you'll get access to these things, and it won't be offered outside of that webinar. Once the webinar is over, and we also see that, like these swipe sheets, if you stay till the end of the webinar, you'll get a link to this content, these swipe sheets, these email headlines, email templates, and that link won't be available in the replay of that webinar.
Yeah.
So the only way to get access to it is to watch the webinar all the way through to the end.
Yeah. With webinars, this kind of bridges over to something you already covered, but the exclusive offers, right? You see this an awful lot in webinars, where if you stay till the end, you can also get some exclusive offer that might be a giant bundle of stuff, right? Which I think a lot of businesses, I know I've found exceptional value in those, because it's almost like an early adopter bundle that you get that's exclusive when you go on the webinar.
Yeah, and now we're coming into the holiday season, so you could have seasonal offers, or limited edition products, like the holiday scented candles, whatever that is. I don't know. I've never bought one, but
bacon flavored root beer.
What's that?
Bacon turkey and stuffing flavored root beer.
That would be interesting. I wouldn't buy that either.
I think it's Jones that has that. Jones sodas.
But yeah. So if you buy on the limited edition products, and you can kind of combine these things. So if you buy whatever X product or service, or you spend X amount of dollars, you can get 50% off these holiday scented candles, something like that, and that can encourage people. And again, if you say, okay, you have to spend $100 and then you get 50% off this, it can help encourage larger orders. And loyalty programs, I think you talked a little bit about this too, that, and you used to see, I don't know why you don't see it as much anymore. Maybe it's just me, because I don't go out. But you used to see this a lot with restaurants. They'd have a card. They'd give a card, and they'd have a punch with a very unique design, so you couldn't just take it home and punch it, But
yeah,
every time you made a purchase, you got your card punched, and then next time you came in, you got a free entree or a free appetizer, or free something.
Those are still alive and well, Paul.
See, I should get out more, but I'm not going to. But that can definitely help. Referral discounts. Again, if you set up and this goes back to encouraging loyalty, and if you have a referral program, and it might have to be, depending on your business, it might have to be in the form of a gift card. Because let's say you're a roofer. Okay, how many times do you need a roof in your life? Okay, especially if you spend a lot of money on a metal roof. Those things last for like 100 years. So,
Yeah.
but what you can do is say, hey, if we get a referral from you and it turns into a job, we'll give you like a $200 gift card. I mean, depending on because you're saying, okay, it has to be a job. And if you're a roofer, that's $10,000 and up, and
Yeah.
roofers generally have like 30% profit margin. So,
Yeah. Visa gift cards are huge for this kind of stuff.
yeah. And because if it's not, if you don't have something that has a lot of repeat business, then you're going to have to kind of go that route. And it has to be big enough to get people's attention. I know a lot of people in the past say, well, it doesn't have to be that much. Well, it depends on the product or service you're offering. But I don't know about you, Ian, but I'm probably not going to go out of my way to refer people to a business because I might get a $10 gift card to Starbucks. Okay. It's just not going to work for me. And I think, and especially this day and age, that just the world we live in, I just don't think that's going to work. It has to be substantial.
Yeah.
And
Well, and you know what, Paul? Like for all of you listeners out there, like this is huge right now because the economy's tough, right? So people care about $100, $100, $500, like whatever it is
no,
that
the
you
economy's
find.
great. Just ask the government.
Yeah. But it's but truthfully, as a business, like this is a very compelling offer if you can make it sweet enough. Because you have to remember, this is if it, just like Paul was saying, this is a mathematical equation. You give this to your satisfied customers, and you say, for every customer you refer that turns into a job, right? You can put as much criteria around this as you want. But if it turns into a job, we will give you X back. And in a tough economy, these can be really, really powerful because they already love you anyways. So all you're doing is trying to say, hey, put a little sticky note on your brain so that every time you see somebody that needs a new roof or new windows or whatever business you're in, you have an added incentive to do something you were already willing to do because you got so much out of us doing the service to begin with, right?
Right. Absolutely. And, another one that we see a lot, and I'm not sure how I feel about this one
Yeah.
because first time buyer offers, I get it. Okay. So encourage new customers to make their first purchase with a discount or whatever it is. If I'm an existing customer, that could kind of piss me off. I mean, what I'm a loyal customer. What are you going to do? And that's the thing in marketing. What have you done for me lately? And
So,
it's,
yeah. So two examples of this where I've seen it go horribly wrong, Paul, is telecoms. We see this all the time, especially in Canada, where we don't have as many telecoms as you guys. Like we're highly regulated, so we
yeah,
have
I mean,
probably.
and, just a touch on that. That's what's
Yeah.
weird. A lot of people don't realize we have a lot of telecom companies,
Yeah.
but you may only have 2 or 3 options in your service area to choose from.
Right. So where I've seen this go horribly wrong from my own experience and my friends and family's experience is with from my experience, I was with the same telecom business for everything, right? Like phone, internet, TV, whatever it was, for 15 years. And they would not give me a better offer that I knew was in the marketplace for new customers. And so I just left them, right? Or the other circumstances of that.
And then within a day, did you get an email saying that they want you back and they'll give you a
Of
better offer?
course. Of course, because they lost a lot of money. But they so the other side of that is that they would have retention people that if I called up the company and said, "Hey, you need to relook at my account," and you would do this every single year with these companies because they could beat their own offer, is say, "Hey, you need to do better," and you'd sit on the phone with them for 2 hours and they'd finally give you a better deal every single year because they could, but they made it so painful for existing customers to get that it was crazy. Let me just give another example real quick of where this can go wrong. Dental business. They offer They don't offer a discount. They did do discounts for a while for new patients, but just like you said, Paul, this actually made their existing patients disgruntled unless you would also give them that offer as well. They they changed it to offer kind of you if you sign up, you get this bundle plus some free items, and so that's worked out much better for them because it's a bundled thing. It's not, and it's bundled in a way that most existing patients wouldn't do that again. So I've seen that that pivot, that evolution work quite well. But yeah, you got to be so careful with the first time buyer offers. They can work, but yeah, be careful how you manage that with your existing customers for sure.
Yeah, and one way to make it work is, and we've kind of talked about this in the past about the importance of a CRM and a real CRM, not the piece of crap that comes with your operational software, which
Yep.
it is. I mean, it's,
Yep.
you see this a lot of times in service type businesses where they have software that basically they use for the operational side of their business, and then that company realized they were losing money to these CRMs, so they basically slap a CRM on top of it that's not really a CRM.
Yeah.
And but if you use a real CRM and you use it properly, you can add tags to your existing customers. So like use your example of a dentist. Let's say you have people that regularly come in for teeth whitening. You can say, hey, it's time for your next tooth whitening. Schedule an appointment now and get 20% off or something like that. That can help encourage loyalty. Or teeth cleaning. Let's say you have someone that hasn't come in for their teeth cleaning in like a year. You can create a list. We call within CR with the CRM we use, it called them smart lists, and you can create a list and send an offer out to them. Say, hey, you haven't come in for your tooth cleaning or your checkup for a year. Make an appointment now and get 10% off, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you can do things like that. And then you had mentioned the bundle deals. We see this with web hosting, domain registration all the time. If you get both your web hosting and your domain registration with us and save X amount, X percent, 25%, whatever it is. And the other thing we see is that, and we see this a lot with domain registration, is if you because when you buy a domain, you can get it for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever. If you
Yeah.
pay for 5 years up front, we're going to give you 50% off. And we see that a lot with domain registration, and that works because people are like, well, okay, I know I'm going to keep this domain. I don't plan on going out of business in 2 years, even though I might. So just to show I might, but I don't plan on it. So I have this, so I may as well get it and save the 50%.
Yeah. And if I can just tag on to what you've talked about with the CRM system, because you're using dentists as an example, and we see this all the time, that I understand you have to keep your practice moving, and you might make a decision on practice management software at the beginning of your business. But please, 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 when you're considering a new practice management software, and this goes for contractors with their CRM systems, their business management systems and operation systems, talk to your marketing consultant, your marketing agency first, and do a needs analysis. It's going to cost you almost nothing. Like, it'll cost you a few $100 probably for maybe even up to 1,000 for the agency to help do a needs analysis. You might actually get that money back if they say, well, if you end up choosing this option that we have, you'll get the money back for the needs analysis, right? But do a needs analysis. And man, make sure you get a system that at least has open APIs that allow you to connect your system, your your practice management, your business operation system with a true marketing CRM system. Because I can't tell you the number of times where businesses get lured into their practice management software, their business management software, because they have a little bullet point or maybe 3 bullet points on, whoa, it can do everything marketing you could possibly imagine. And then they get in there, they ask their agency to help them figure out, like, well, it said it could do this. How can we do this? And it's absolutely dreadful. It can't do what they want to do. And it's not that they want to do something that they shouldn't be able to do. It's just the software can't do it. And so we always try to recommend to our clients, after we do a needs analysis, and say, well, where are you today with your CRM system? What kind of data do you have in there? What kind of things, excuse me, do you want to be able to do in the future? You talked about a really good segmentation idea, Paul, right? Where you're saying we want to track certain things about our clients or our patients so that we can do specific things, messaging activities related to that with them. And so I think that's a really good example of, excuse me, you need an open system so that you can then share information between the two systems, because chances are, if you want to do real marketing, you're going to have the two systems talk to each other, because no, at least in my experience up to this day, and I don't see anything foreseeable in the foreseeable future changing this, because we stumble upon a lot of different systems that our clients have, and then they want to do more, and we discover that, sorry, you've boxed yourself in with the system that you've invested in, and it's very all of the businesses make it very, very painful to move your system to another one. So do a needs analysis, look at the future. What are we going to want to do with this? Talk to your marketer, because they will give you bigger insights. They're not trying to change your decision excuse me, on how you run your practice or how you manage it or how you manage your business, but they can give you insights and ideas that go far beyond your imagination of what a true marketing system can do for you, and how it can be omni-channel across all of the different platforms, how it will simplify your life and give you greater and greater capabilities than you knew were possible. Can't agree more with you, Paul. Like, that's such a huge thing. And I'm sorry for my soapbox, but I see it time and time again where business owners get stuck with software that sucks. And I hate to see it.
Yeah. And, the other thing, you would, something to keep in mind, and like you said, talk to your marketing agency or a marketing agency that has experience in this area, because you mentioned the open API, and I won't go into what that is, but
Yeah.
that's a two-way street. Okay. So
Yeah.
yes, your CRM has to have an open API, but the software that you want to integrate with or exchange data with also has to have that. And we see this all the time with a lot of these operational softwares that have slapped a so-called CRM on top of it. They don't
Yeah.
integrate with anything.
Yeah.
And the other thing to ask is, if you're looking at a CRM, is what data can I export and how? Because we've seen this where they either make it really difficult to export data, or you can only export certain parts of data. And there's one out there that I won't mention that you can do an export, but so within the software, you have your contact information, and then you have notes or additional data attached to
Yeah.
that contact. Well, when you export your contacts, that additional data isn't exported. And
Right. Just the base data.
And well, but you can export it. But the problem is that when you export your contacts, that's exported as a CSV. You can export those notes, but that's exported as a PDF, but it's no longer attached to the contact, which is worthless.
Right.
So,
And a PDF is tough to work with as well.
right.
I mean, there's
And so,
ways, but yeah.
and I think they give you the option to export as a Word document as well, but it's still worthless.
Yeah.
So there are definite questions that you need to ask. And that goes back to, if you're using a real CRM, you probably won't run into any of those issues.
Yeah. Well, Paul, just because I'm having trouble with my voice today, I think we should probably wrap up. And we'll actually break this out into a second session.
Sure.
And hope Ken can join us as well. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right. Well, shall I wrap it up then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Paul, for sharing your thoughts on this topic about how to make your offers amazing and how to utilize those, especially as we're leading into the end of the year and into the new year. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you found value in this, and please drop us a line about topics that are important to you. We always share topics that we hear people asking us about, but we want to continue to make sure that this is a really relevant and helpful podcast for you. So without further ado, until next week, keep calm and mark it on, folks. Bye for now.